I'm Mark Tilley. We're bringing you a factory bike shootout. Well, sort of. We have special edition motorcycles from Honda, KTM, and Husky. Now, most of you are familiar with the Husky and the KTM. Honda bringing something brand new to the market this year in 2019 with their CRF 450R Works Edition. Now, we know that the platform for each one of these motorcycles is not the same. Husky and KTM are giving us a glimpse into the future of what's to come for their next year's motorcycle. Honda is doing something completely different. They're taking their current year model motorcycle and adding hop-up parts to it, putting a Yoshimura slip-on system on it, a kit suspension that Kashima coated, a head that's modified. They're going a little bit different with what they are, but we figured, hey, there's 3 motorcycles, let's shoot them out. Like we mentioned before, the Husky and the KTM do have some bling accessories. Their triple clamp is a bling accessory, but also lets you switch between 2 different offsets. Each one has a different slip-on exhaust, different wheels, some other stuff like the launch control. The Honda, altogether different beast with the ported head, the Yoshimura slip-on, money that's spent in the suspension department. There's a lot more value when it comes to actual parts that come on the Honda. So what we did with this shootout is we took all of our pro level test riders and we had them ride each motorcycle at multiple track on different days, but we wanted to see if a pro level rider wanted something different than what like an amateur level rider would. In the handling department, all 3 Pro replicas handle like the standard model. For the latecomers, here's a little recap. The KTM and Husky turn well and have reasonable straight line stability. They are defined, however, by their lack of weight. They both weigh 222 pounds without fuel. That's downright incredible. The Honda is around 16 pounds heavier, and it can't escape that fact. Some riders report that the Honda steers lightly, but on the flip side to that, it's more nervous at speed. It also makes you feel like you have a little less control of that kind of situation. In the suspension component department, Hondas are the most significant changes from the stock model. Contrary to what some say, the Works Edition show fork have the same internal valving and spring rate that the standard bike has. It feels much different though. The titanium nitrate and Kashima coating require different settings altogether. If you increase the compression damping, the Honda fork starts to feel softer and plusher. Most of our test riders liked it the best with 3 or 4 clicks more compression in the front, and in the rear worked best about 106 millimeters of sag and 2 or 3 more clicks of compression. Both the KTM and Husky Special Edition forks feel different from the standard model, and some of that is because of the new triple clamp. In the original shootout, both bikes were called out for having a harsh front suspension feel. We historically have a great fondness for the WP AER 48 fork, but we theorize that the bar has been raised again in the suspension world. Most riders like the Honda fork better. That wasn't necessarily the case here. With minor internal changes, increased air pressure, and a new triple clamp, both the KTM and the Husky were much improved over the standard models. Most, but not all, of our pro level test riders rated the KTM and Husky forks higher than the Honda fork. In the rear, all 3 performed very similar to their standard model siblings. In a lot of the other departments, these bikes look very similar to each other. The Husky and the KTM have a whole shot device where the Honda doesn't, but they have gripper seats, they all have slip-on exhausts. Honda has clearly invested the most in this replica bike when it comes to dollars and cents. But there is some stuff that we would like to see on the Honda that don't come on it, like a hydraulic clutch. The bike really needs help in the clutch department. We were a little bummed, to say the least. So what did our panel of pro expert level riders think? Well, to be honest, it's not that far off the results from our standard bike shootout. Of the 3 bikes here, the KTM was a unanimous favorite. It turns out that pros often value the same traits as amateurs. Everybody benefits from a bike that's light, and everyone benefits from predictability. Honda has the most powerful motor in the last shootout, and it still does here. All of our pro test riders love the motor, but it turns out they also appreciate the KTM's smooth power delivery. Now for the real reality check. These bikes in general won't be purchased by pro level riders or their teams. Guys with AMA Pro licenses rebuild everything with products from team sponsors and have their own motor builder. If they start with a pro replica bike, they would simply be tossing out more expensive pieces. Who will buy the Factory Edition and Works Edition and Rockstar Edition? Older riders, wealthier riders, fans and amateurs. Pro replicas have never been for pros. That's why they're called replicas. They're premium level flagships that give amateur riders a glimpse of life at the top of the pro world.